happy hour. Night attacks happy hour. Night attacks happy hour. Dig.
Oh, wait, I hit the wrong button. It's fine. It's fine. Hello, beautiful people. It's Brian Brushwood, doing the thing that I fear the most in the entire world, hitting go on a live stream, having nobody to talk to, and no direction pre-planned. However, it is very, very heartening to see people showing up in the chat already. Man, what a week. Had a really good time with Andrew Heaton earlier this week. And yes, Ben Franklin in the chat, I do have you to talk to. So I'm going to let you guys dictate what we chat about until Justin shows up. For those of you who don't know, Justin does Daily Tech News Show on Thursdays. So he normally takes a little bit before he can get over. Oftentimes we'll have friend of the show, Meryl Barr, on with us to fill the air. But in this case, it's all just me. Although Meryl Barr is saying effing Spectrum, keeping up his hot streak of cursing on the show, whether or not he's actually here. Favorite old show that we have rewatched on Spoiler in Time. Man, it was really a trip to go back and revisit The Shield. The Shield really is the best show on television. It is different than The Wire. The Wire and The Shield, great for different reasons. The Shield gets you in a visceral, gut-punching way that I just hadn't experienced before. Whereas The Wire, the main character of The Wire is quite literally the city of Baltimore and all of its strange, broken aspects. The Buck says Sopranos. I really should give that a try, but just mob movies in general don't really do it for me. And much less the idea of as I remember, it was pitched in the early aughts or whatever, the idea that somebody would be a mob figure and you know, be seeing a therapist seems so crazy. But yeah, as a matter of fact, recent episode, Meryl Barr was talking about Southland, saying it was very The Shield-esque. I feel like I should give that a try. But man, it's kind of a weird time of year right now because we've pushed as hard as we can on all of the getting ready for Christmas stuff, and there's kind of nothing left to worry about, which it sounds like a good thing, but it leaves me wandering around in circles, not sure where stuff should go, or what I should be doing. But I'll tell you this much: I was reading a PC Gamer article about Hearthstone and the brouhaha about how upset people were with, I don't know, the gold mechanics or whatever the economics are of a free-to-play game. And the article made the point, yeah, to be honest, this transgression in Hearthstone land isn't really that big a deal compared to other things that have happened. What's really happening is there's a bunch of really good alternatives. And one of the alternatives that they mentioned was a game called Slay the Spire, which I know has been a Bryce pick from way back in the day. I know that I bought it on Steam. I know that I started playing it far enough to realize, oh, this is a turn-based strategy game that feels to me like something I should play on a phone, not on a desktop. And sure enough, it's out on the phone now. It's freaking great. Like, time vanishes. Like, after going for a jog and a walk, I was sitting and playing, and all of a sudden, boom, half hour went away. And then it's like, okay, I guess I'll get on the bike. Suddenly, boom, another hour went away. And it's basically kind of a questy thing. So imagine playing Hearthstone, and you try to work your way up a ladder. You see how far you can go, and then you have to start it all over again. Sunbutton says he's playing Slay the Spire. Is there a best archetype? Is there a best way to play? Because the thing that I'm afraid of right now is that there may be too much that's random in it, in terms of, like, of the 4 times I played a full run, one of the times I got just the right loot drops with the right synergies where all of a sudden I was just crushing it. And I was like, well, I guess this is my favorite type of guy to play. But then I played it again and went pretty much nowhere. Sunbun says, Slaying the Spire is so fun and very catered to ... adult livelihoods. What I assume that means is that you can set it down midway through a run and not be missing much when you get back to it. But yes, it is on mobile. And the Buck in the chat was asking if it's on mobile. The thing I did notice is everybody who gave it a 4-star review said the only reason it's not a 5 is because it's very clearly a port and an imperfect port at that. And for example, you got to imagine at the bottom of the screen, you got a bunch of cards and you see the tops of all the cards and the names of all of them, which is great if you know what these cards are and what they do. But in order to see it, you have to drag the card up, but not so far up that it looks like you're trying to cast the card. Just drag it up enough to see it. And unfortunately, your freaking finger is right in the way, is covering up the text on the freaking card, so you have no way to read it. So then you sort of lean your finger forward and peek underneath it. So yes, I understand anybody who refused to give it, only giving it a 4 out of 5. Totally understand why. But that's definitely on iOS. I am surprised because I really thought that I was going to love playing Wasteland 2 on the Switch. And so far, I've only played the exact same amount I did on the desktop. I played the very first mission and that's it. And I already feel like I screwed up. I feel like from the beginning, anytime you have a tactical strategy game where you get to name your characters and shape them or whatever, I become stupidly overinvested in them, and I instantly become convinced that I'm playing it wrong. Because, oftentimes, man, this goes all the way back to Knights of the Old Republic. Oftentimes, games reward you to pick a direction and stick with it, and they often punish you for changing your mind midway through on there. And that's what I fear. I'm already experiencing the paralysis of maybe that's what happened on the Switch with Wasteland 2. So we'll see. Sunbun says, next time I happen to be in the same room as Viking_Lass, I think she has a lot more to say about Slay the Spire. I would love to hear it. And I would love to know what you mean by other roguelike games. Hot Beverages says, I miss Bioware games. Yeah, I guess. Did Bioware completely vanish, or did they just get bought and sold like everyone else does and just become something else? Because you're right. The last time, I remember when the Old Republic came out, we did the show about that. Everybody's reminding me that EA bought them, which, as Brustleberry says, equals death. Not going to deny that. You're probably right. So now the question is, in fact, let's throw this out there. We got some time before Justin joins us. It is now the 17th of December. And I would imagine that if not time off, we're all at a place where our must-dos are softer than they would usually do. So what is everybody excited about investing their time, energy, and effort into over the next 2 weeks as we ramp up to 2021? Because I assume most of us are essentially going to, at some point, end up just on vaccine watch. There's going to be some app where we can watch vaccines travel. There's going to be a vaccine cam. There's going to be vaccine cam girls that just keep getting vaccines over and over again. Ooh, very good. Just Inception says, so much Cyberpunk. I heard that it was a buggy release, which makes me hesitant to jump into Cyberpunk. Also, if I was going to play it, I think I would want to get my daughter into it, but I don't know how appropriate for 13-year-olds it is. So we'll see. Got Spider Cat says they're 6 hours in, no bugs so far. Buggy is being kind, says JSC315. On PC, it's much better to not do it on console. Not terrible on PC, just a couple of bugs. Nudity, if you care about that. Lots of nudity and banging. I mean, I can't imagine it's too graphic on that. I would imagine there would be a lot of drug usage, but I haven't seen anybody say that yet. Tons of dildos. Not entirely sure how to follow that one up. We definitely were watching last night on Community, where Annie, I believe, is staying in an apartment on top of Dildopolis, and I was waiting for the moment that I was gonna have to explain that to either of my kids. Didn't care. They didn't want to hear about it. I think there was an 8 == D reference in that same episode. Only had minor issues on a Series X very horny game. I assume we're back to Cyberpunk on that. You could customize your genitals. Yep, I've heard that. I don't know how explicit they are. I would imagine they're just various bulges inside a crotch area. And Just Inception says his 3080 just arrived yesterday and it's great. I assume that's a NVIDIA graphics card, which, nope, full on dong? Wait, full frontal? You for reals? Huh. Okay, well, that does alter things. Choose which, dick? Anteater versus Helmet. Holy shit. Okay, all right, well, now I know. And I'm really surprised you guys took this long to get around to letting me know that no, I should not ask my 13-year-old if she wants to jump in on this. That's amazing. I wonder, MDTA UK says, I saw some bugs with wieners poking out of clothing. By the way, there's nothing better than the word wieners and butts. They're very dismissive and very second grade to describe very XXX things. Identity 4 says you can't, he doesn't think you can customize genitals in Minecraft. What would be great is if you could, but all you were able to affect is 1 pixel. That'd be amazing. Miravina says, I saw boobs popping out of shirts and dick slips. That sounds accurate. Yeah. All right. So what else? We started to talk a bit about what we wanted for Christmas. I have not done the research, but I do continue to want some way to control sound in multiple of those rock speakers. And beverages in the chat saying, how did we get here? It's a good question. Video games. Doesn't take long to go from video games to dong slips. Christmas shopping. Let's talk about that. Actually, I can't. I did get something for Bonnie. I'm not going to say what, because, you know, she's already given permission. She said, look, I understand that, you know, my big gift is the kiln, and we did get the kiln and we were able to get it moved from, you know, place A to place B. But now where it is, you know what? I'm going to hold off. I feel like it'll end up being a night attack thing. So there's that. So, man, it's hard. It's hard to keep a conversation afloat with yourself, especially when you're keeping secrets from everybody else. It's a little, Daniel J. Newman says, I got a very nice Secret Santa gift from my coworker. I know it's not a competition, but I am going to first place this shit. That was, I don't know why I haven't done it a third or fourth time, but I really dug doing the Reddit Secret Santas. Scooper Nova Girl says, I wish I lived in Texas or Las Vegas, so no snow. Holy cow, dude. Not only that, it is right now. Hold on. We'll do a breaking jealousy weather alert. It is 63 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. And let me check wind, because the wind always drives me batty. Yeah, dude, 7-mile-an-hour wind. It is perfect out there. It is perfect, and perfect dog walking weather. For those of you guys wanting updates on joyful federal agent Bryce Doug Neshcom Castillo Brushwood, she continues to get better and better at not happily biting our faces. And recognizing when she's getting herself into trouble, which is good. And JL Anderson Media says, from all of us in Pennsylvania, fuck off. Don't blame you. Don't blame you one bit. But you guys get lovely summers. I mean, you have to listen to us complain about 100 days in a row of 100 plus degrees. It's freaking crazy. 72 degrees in Florida. Alacar asks, is Heaton in town for a while, or did he just breeze through on Tuesday? No. Yeah, he's actually squatting on the property. The Scamp is parked right over there, and it's cozy, man. It really is. It's like a TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside than you would expect. I want the Monorogue in the snow. Okay, there might still be time for this. I doubt it though, but that was something I really wanted to do, was figure out a way to get full on, to do a bunch of snow related things, but actually have snow made here in Austin. But the problem is, to do that, it would be great around Christmas time, but it would be multiple thousands of dollars. And it would only be cute at Christmas. It's not going to be cute in February. Like by the time we get to February, everybody's going to be over snow who has snow, and those who don't are going to be all like, unimpressed. So add that to the list for next year. I guess we'll get a chipper shredder, but then, I mean, you're still going to end up spending like $500, $1,000 just on ice to blast it everywhere. But like making an igloo would be fun, something like that. JSC315 says snow is overrated. I feel like that's the purview of people who are spoiled. Like, you get to be annoyed with snow because you have snow. For those of us who grew up literally never seeing it, I can't think of too many things that felt more magical than those first times that we saw snow. As a matter of fact, there was one time, and I took a screen grab from weather.com, where on Christmas Eve, it began to snow, and it snowed everywhere from Houston, Texas, all the way down the Gulf Coast, down to Harlingen, where snow landed all over all the citrus fruits that they grow down there. And on that Christmas Eve, it's dated, timestamped, the whole 9 yards. There's only one patch of snow right along there, and it snowed 6 to 8 goddamn inches. It was unreal. So on Christmas Eve, it was the whole family together. I believe it was Penny's first Christmas. She was barely crawling around, and it started to snow. It's like, oh, how cute. We'll get a dusting. Instead, the following day, it was the most magical, white Christmas experience you could possibly imagine. I'll have to find some of those. Although on the other side, Hughes Jason says, Brian, we got 19 inches of snow today. Granted, look, I'm not saying everybody has to find snow enchanting. I'm just saying, if you get snow on the regulars, understand just how precious and magical that appears to those of us who get, sun scorched for 100 days straight all summer long. 23 inches, according to Scoopernova Girl. People who have never experienced snow don't know true quiet. I think, Meryl, that is the true magic of it is just how quiet it gets. The closest I can see is like, you do kind of get a similar effect when it's super foggy out, like early in the day. It feels like you're walking on the misty moors or whatever. But Guy Smiley 777 says that snow novelty wears off when you're a homeowner. I 100% believe that. I believe all of this. I believe eventually, if you are force-fed double cheeseburgers all day long, eventually you lose interest in double cheeseburgers. No disagreement here. JSC315 says that in Michigan, they would get 100 inches or so per winter. That is another thing that you're also spoiled on, because along with snow comes snow melt, which comes reliable rivers. And down in Texas, man, I mean, look, we're not California yet. We're not a giant tinderbox ready to freaking explode the moment a single smoker flicks out a cigarette. But rivers are becoming more seasonal here in Texas. And in a world where, like when we first bought this property, the first year, we had a couple of really good extended lengths of having the pond be full, but now it's like this entire year, I think it's gotten half full, maybe twice. So now we're starting to look at actually, how do we actually save water and all that stuff? Did we ever talk about what I was thinking of doing with the pond? There's a guy out there. His name is David Pagan Butler. Here, I'm going to type that in. David Pagan, Pagan Butler. And his entire channel is nothing but how to make organic pools that self-clean. And we'll kind of take a look at this. There we go. I mean, they're exactly what you would think. Get out of here, solar pumps. But it's all just footage of gorgeous ponds. And the more I look at them, the more I just want to learn the right magical mix of frogs and pebbles and lily pads and all of that business. And the more I want to do it on this property. But in this case, this is a 5-minute video. If you just type in David Pagan Butler 5 minutes, you'll see sort of how they dig out this pond. They dig it, looks like, I don't know, 10, here, turn this stuff down there. Maybe 8 to 10 feet deep. They pour concrete all over the place, which we would not do. We would do either bentonite or put down a liner everywhere. But you got to have a swimming area, and then separate from it a recharge area. But in this case, we got just kind of a giant bowl. So even to fill it, I would have to dig a well, which would be a whole thing. And in a world where 2020's happened, and we still haven't even been able to have our own first proper founders club, doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. But at any rate, so the idea is you got a swimming area, and then the majority of the space is very shallow recharge area. And then you just have an oxygenator pump that's solar powered that keeps enough bubbles flowing through everything that the water circulates as though it was an actual river or something like that. MDTA UK says a pond is a bit off-brand for Monorogue. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it is off-brand. That would be very gentlemanly to create a your own private swimming pond, your own swimming hole. There's a couple of places that it reminds me of. One is here in Austin. We have a place called Barton Springs that's all spring fed. But another one is Jacob's Well, which is, I guess, is also spring fed. But if we could artificially create that, if you've never jumped into a 70-degree spring-fed pool at 100 degrees, you've not lived. Like, it is unreal and amazing. This explosion of crisp, clean, clear water. But the only way to get there is work. There's a lot of work to get there, which we're seeing right here. I don't think there's much else outside of this slideshow. But yeah, I would love to have that pond happen. And by the way, time's running out because we're coming up on 2024 is going to be the 5-year anniversary. That's going to be when the eclipse happens. That's when we need to make way for the Great Ascension, for our complete, full-on nudist cult awakening. That means I've got work to do between now and then. And the video ends with a kid jumping into a pool because, of course. But the here, separately, let me show you Jacob's Well. Jacob's Well, Texas. Yeah. The dangerous truth of Jacob's Well. Go on. Ads. I can't believe I haven't bothered to log in on the right ad-free thing. So that's a question that we have to address is, what are we going to do? Like, do you guys think we're going to be able to have a Founders Day this year? Because we were on track to get like 100 to 150 people all here on the property so that we could experience the beginning, something that would become full on an annual tradition. And then 2020 just 2020'd us right in the 2020. And Fearless Freep says in July. I mean, that's the problem, right? Is the anniversary date is on the 9th of April. And I just don't know. I don't know if that's going to land. How do you get invites to Founders Day? Well, I suppose everybody who chipped in to actually reserve a spot last year will get priority, but I have no idea. Justin, we were just talking about whether or not there will be a Founders Day thing this year, and how close we're going to get to, like, because I mean, I'm just assuming beginning of April is too soon and that we're not going to see it, but I don't know.
I would bet there will be a Founders Day in 2021.
Yeah.
Whether or not, well, there will be an event on the property in 2021. Whether or not you want to protect Founders Day on April, whatever, on that day in April, because I know that the date is part of the mystique.
Right.
That is definitely going to be a larger question.
Yeah, and then or whether or not we want to do like a virtual thing and figuring out like who's able to travel, who's willing to travel. I mean, we just don't know. I mean, it'll be. I was joking.
I will come for an April event. Like if I can go cover the Georgia runoff in January, I can definitely come to Austin in April.
Yeah, I wonder. So I was making jokes about how like all we want to do is watch vaccines roll out and watch live streams of people getting vaccines and see vaccine cam girls and all of that stuff. I wonder how quick that novelty fades, or whether or not it's like watching I don't know, the first Gulf War, where it's like there's never enough. You just constantly want to be updating to find out the latest.
Yeah, I think that partly right now the question is going to be exactly how fast it can happen, and then obviously watching the proof positive of kind of death numbers fall, because that's hopefully the thing that happens first, is that as we vaccinate our most vulnerable populace, the one for which they're 300 times more likely to die than the average person, that falls first, and then we kind of see infection rates go from there. But I don't know. I suspect that we will see a breaking point for some people as the risk gets lower, as it becomes less of I'm going to kill my grandma if I walk outside.
Right.
And then from there, it's like, well, all right. So let's say that like you were like committed to having a Founders Day in April, like, but you wanted to do it in the safest possible way. And let's presume that there's no local Texan or Austin law that prohibited you from doing it.
Right.
Is that 30 people that you're spread way far out, like just enough to make it to make some noise, and you live stream it? Like, is it 100 people? Or I mean, like, what I guess you were looking at like 150, 200 at the top, right?
So 150 I think was the top that we could conceivably make everything comfortable, and that's assuming it would be a nice day, and that but on a rough day, then the question becomes like, okay, how many people could we fit in air conditioning, full stop? And failing that, what would we do? All of these problems sound so quaint now. They sound so far away.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they sound like things that you would look to dive into, be very excited to get up into, like all these logistics, if it meant that at the end of it, it would be a different thing. Although, did you see the news that there's an over-the-counter COVID test that got FDA approval?
Yeah, I saw there's some kind of app, something or other. Does it actually plug into your phone or what? Or maybe a Bluetooth or something?
I have not looked up the details on it. So hopefully somebody in the chat can. But the rumor I heard from a friend was that it was like lick a strip, and it's like a pregnancy test thing that you find out ASAP.
Dude, I would imagine that's fantastic. Any word on the efficacy or the reliability of it?
That was approved by the FDA. Whatever it is, it was
So
approved by the FDA.
It means
so
it's not made of poison.
yeah. But here, let's go. At home COVID test approval.
Wow. Within 20 minutes, 90% accurate, which instantly I have no idea how I feel. Like, is that good enough? I don't know. 90% seems a lot, but question mark?
I mean, all right, but let me ask you this. So let's say Founders Day, you do 75 people. 75 people, certainly. Outside is going to sound probably about the same as 150, and inside it'll sound about the same as 150 if you're recording everything.
Right.
But they're stopping in the Torchy's parking lot beforehand, and everybody licks the strip, and you got to get a positive test to come on in. Now that's not going to be perfect, right? Because somebody could have it and it had yet to kind of germinate. So everybody is taking a risk, but at least you know that you are not in it's not a crazy thing. Like, I think that does take a little bit of the issue, the sting out of the issue.
Yeah, and also hopefully there would be some amount of self-selection in terms of, like, I'm healthy enough to that's the biggest thing. Is I think about, like, everybody crawling into giant metal tubes recirculating air in the sky, that in order to get to the thing is the part that I'm like, ugh.
Although apparently the flying is safe because of the way that the air conditioning or their air circulation works, because it blows it all down.
Right.
That that is much less of an issue than you would think. I don't know, man. There's still so much. I still feel like at a certain point we're all in this global riddle that at some point somebody like a scam school riddle, like a bar riddle, and at some point someone's just going to explain, oh no, the doctor was the mother. And we're going to be like, oh,
this is a sexism test.
We should have just done XYZ. We should have just, we should have lived on planes. We should have all, like, invested in gigantic hats that just blew air down in front of our mouths the entire time instead of wearing masks. Like, we all should have lived in wind tubes.
Yeah. Part of me just wants to fixate on this question, but the smarter part of me says, man, I ain't going to find out. Hey, I got Slay the Spire on my phone, and it's pretty good. I played it on the desktop, and I was like, this seems dangerous to play on a desktop. But now that it's on my phone, I could do it while I'm working out, and it's a good way to make hours go by.
Yeah, I liked Slay the Spire. I thought it was good. In fact, I was like just getting into it when I stopped flying and stopped playing it.
Yeah. Did you get far enough into it that you felt like there was one archetype that you liked the most, or no?
To be honest, I'm that feels like 50 years ago.
Different
at this
lifetime.
Point. Yeah, that's like asking me what my favorite brand of pen was in high school. I have no clue.
Did you see? This will be fun. Hold on. Let me go to Mitzula on Twitter, and I'll do a search for. Actually, maybe it's here. Mitzula hit me up saying how much to put one of these on the 7 Acre Schwood, and it's this unfolding house. Have you seen this?
I saw a little bit. Yeah, it was. I saw some stuff on Twitter, but I'd like to see it again.
Yeah, let me actually probably should have. Let's do at Schwood at Mitzula. There we go. Latest. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go. Take a look at this. So it's a house pod that unfolds, and It's called Boxable, Boxable. And go ahead and do that full screen there. Get both of us on this. It on the speed part here doesn't look like much. Basically, it's just like a cardboard box. Side goes up, side goes up, other side goes up. And then this dude, we're sparing you the audio because it's a bit tedious. But for 400 square feet, it's got a little living area, living room, a kitchenette with a full-size refrigerator, a full bathroom. It's got a bed with the same screen that you can rotate around and face into the living room area. Has a mirror on the other side so that you can watch TV in bed. I mean, that seems pretty great, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a really, really, really baller, like, combination of IKEA rooms. Like when you or like those little IKEA, like, here's how you decorate X amount of square footage or whatever. Like I don't know. It seems, the lighting's really smart. The way that they did all the recessed lighting in there.
They even do little things like they make one of the cabinets clear so that when you sit in one corner, you can see all the way through the cabinet door into the corner of the cabinet on the other side to maximize that perception of it being as big as possible.
So how much for this little unfoldable house?
They did not say. They did that thing where it's all like, can't wait to bring it to you. Yeah, and that's it.
I wonder, is this like the idea for like the tiny house people? Like, is that who this is for?
Yeah, I think the tiny house people are more numerous than we think. No,
it's a huge thing,
right?
It's a huge, especially out here. People love that tiny house.
To be honest, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the thinking is basically, wait a minute, you're telling me everyone in New York is used to like 1/3 this space, and we can straight up just offer them that, and then introduce the idea of a lawn as well. We'll take that money. I mean, and this whole thing, is the size of a shipping container when it's sent out. I think we're in an age of the internet, especially ubiquitous internet, where everybody has decent high speed thanks to 5G and what have you. I feel like we're going to see a crazy diaspora where everybody is more and more comfortable with the idea of, okay, maybe I don't physically see my friends as often as I used to, but virtually we're hanging out even more often.
Yeah. I think that there's certainly, I'm more in on the diaspora thing now than I think I've ever been, because I'm watching it happen in California.
Yeah, dude. Like we saw on that quiz last night or 2 nights ago, where the answer was like, why are Californians getting the fuck out of California?
It's a thing, dude. Like there was an era where it was really hard to park in my neighborhood. And then we got a car that's larger than either car that either Ashley or me had. And now it's very easy to park in my neighborhood, despite the fact that theoretically nobody's going anywhere, except they are. They're getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And I really wonder exactly how much, how fast it's going to recover. I really worry about Oakland. This is supposed to be a big year for Oakland, and it was partly based on the idea that a bunch of tech companies were going to headquarter downtown. And if there's one thing that we have no idea when and if they're ever going to come back on the same level, it's the big, gigantic, gaudy, ubiquitous tech headquarters.
Yeah. And then also, in this video, he points out that because there's sort of a mini split, basically think of kind of a fancy version of not quite a wall unit, but like the noisy part is outside, and then it just circulates cool air on the inside. Because there's no ductwork, there's never anything to clean there or whatever. I don't know. If you like the idea of living on a boat, then this seems like a fine unfoldable boat to live on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this is more, I would say for you, that would be like a guest house. Not, I mean, you already have 3 bedrooms, right? But let's say you were churning at such a level and you had people that were like living in residence semi-permanently, and you're like, also, I want my own, and much in the same way that you have your own little off the beaten path office, you're like, I also want an off the beaten path house.
Right.
And and it's like, that is like, oh shit, I could have an off the beaten path house for myself in however long that lead time is. Let's imagine it's something staggeringly prime close to Amazon Prime, that you could have that folded out and ready to roll. Like, that's attractive.
JL Anderson Media says the video did flash the price for a hot second. It was like $4,750. That's got to be so stripped down as to not even be. I mean,
not what you're actually seeing.
Yeah.
That's like the
not even.
base,
I mean,
base.
Yeah, exactly. Like just the refrigerator alone is going to be $1,000, and then the mini split is going to be like $3,000 or whatever. Like JL Anderson Media says, don't listen to me. I believe you. But there is an FAQ here, so let me see if we can see that. How much does it cost? Oh, sorry, $49,000. A bit more.
Touch more.
$49,000. Do you have other sizes and floor plans? Nope. Get bent. Do you have 50 grand? Thanks.
So wait, how much is shipping?
Let's see. If you pay the shipping, we'll ship it to you anywhere. Please get on the wait list.
All right. So $50K plus shipping, and is it furnished?
Let's see. The Boxable Casitas, fast and easy. For 50 grand, you get a fully finished house. Fully finished house. What's not included is your land and site setup. So that means utility hookups, foundation, landscaping, permits, and more. So, Jesus Christ, now you're looking at fucking tiny homes, man. That's where the money is.
Yeah. So out the door, you're paying a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
You're buying the house, though. I mean,
but
is it
again,
movable from there? Could you move it somewhere else? Could you just buy more land somewhere else and pack it back up? Or once it's out, then it's out?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's very exciting to watch this thing get unpacked, and it looks like it's very efficient on space. However, if you back too far away from it, oh man, what if they had these, but they were already unpacked and on wheels and delivered right to your lot? Oh, wait, we're just describing a trailer home. And then all of a sudden it's like, trailer homes, they go for about 50 grand. And do they go up in value or down in value? Oh, that's right. They all go down in value. Might as well just get a new trailer home.
I think it's a great video. Yes. Congratulations. You've made a great video, and I like your video. I will like but not subscribe.
Are they fire resistant? Answer: nothing is fireproof. I'm not defensive. You are defensive. Boxable was engineered with fire resistance in mind. We were thinking about fire. Are they energy efficient? Totally. Super energy efficient. Can they handle snow? They're load rated for 90% of North America. Let me remind you that the vast majority of North America doesn't see snow ever.
Yeah. So what, like Alaska get fucked? Like any of the Great Lakes region get fucked?
Are these manufactured homes? No. They're built to a higher code standard. So, I mean, just so there. Is the roof flat? Well, yeah. Can you customize it? No. You can have it in any color you want as long as it's black.
Is there a chance the track will bend?
Not on your life, my Hindu friend. Can I have solar or off grid? It's like, you can do whatever you want. It's free country. This is a really defensive FAQ. I'm really glad. Thank you to whoever posted the FAQ here. Yeah, 50 grand. That's That's more expensive than a taco.
That is more expensive than a taco. It's about time we finally made that revelation.
What were you guys chatting out about on DTNS?
Google getting hit with not one but
Texas
two.
coming for you.
Texas and another one with 35 states plus Guam, Puerto Rico, and DC, effectively saying that Google prioritizing its own products, including like Google Maps reviews and stuff like that, basically push down the organic search traffic of Yelp, or like their own plane flight, like travel purchasing thing, pushing down the kayaks of the world, which depresses those ad markets, which makes it more expensive for people to buy ads since you are now monopolizing that ad market. But both of them go after the ad stuff, which I think if Google is going to get smacked and actually have to make some systemic changes, it's going to be about their ad stuff, including just the idea that like if they were going to cross the line or have crossed the line without realizing that they've crossed the line, they got too aggressive. It's going to be on the thing that actually makes them money, which is AdWords. Right. Google is not a search company; it's an ad sales company.
There was, I wish I could remember which podcast it was, but they were talking about the stranglehold that there's a temptation. A lot of places are going after big tech, and they're going after big tech just saying they're just too big, which this particular guest was saying is probably not the right tack. If you want to pin them for the fact that what they're doing is they're forcing small businesses. Like if you have a new small business, you cannot function without participating in the Facebook ecosystem for advertising. They're just so big. And because they're monolithic in it, and because they own everything, because they buy all their competition like Instagram and so on, that allows all of the prices that they charge businesses to put their own posts on there in a way that'll get seen. It artificially inflates those prices. And so that's where you ding them on. But it sounds like this particular case is different because they're picking winners and losers, I guess.
Yes, but they're picking themselves as the winner and everyone else as the loser. Like they are saying that even though if we just had Google Maps and the Google review function in Maps as its own thing and Yelp as its own thing, and you just ran a clean search, Yelp would show up higher and you would see more Yelp things. But Google self-dealing puts their own product because they're like, we'll help you. Here's the Google things that we have with Maps. And so they're giving you their results before they would give anybody else's. Beyond that, the suit alleges that when Yelp and Kayak buy advertising with Google, Google then takes the information that when Yelp is like, brunch in Austin,
right?
They know that like, oh shit, we should really step up our brunch in Austin stuff. So let's have Google Maps reach out to all the brunch places in Austin to make sure that we beef up and maybe send out a photographer to take really good photos. So when our things show up, they're big and pretty because they have used the data that Yelp had to put in there for advertising. The Texas one is interesting because they allege that Facebook and Google are basically in a price fixing scheme to set the prices on advertising as the effective duopoly of digital ads.
Yeah, that's closer to what really resonated with me because being, a small business that does not play ball with Facebook. Number one, I constantly think like every time I've ever tried to play ball within Facebook's ecosystems with their pixels and their advertising and getting the word out or whatever, it is unreal how efficient that market is. Like however much we spend is exactly whatever the margins are that we increase it by. So it's like, well, if what we want to do is work harder and stay in the same place, Facebook appears to be a perfect solution for that.
Yeah. And of course, there are the shamans who will tell you that, they're the ones that know where dry land is, and they can find it, and it's only a matter of getting that finding oil and then min-maxing the amount that you're spending, and there's a whole a bracketology to it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really do hope and believe that there is something to understanding and restraining the fact that they are such dominant players, not just in online advertising, but advertising, like full scope. Like they own the concept of advertising. Like the Madison Avenue as a concept is in shambles. The people that used to buy from them now don't buy from them. The places they used to place their ads now don't exist. It's crazy.
And we can all expect this to all be hashed out and settled in 2 months, 3 months?
Well, I mean, I'll just say this. If anybody expects the Biden administration, for which is mostly made up of ex-Obama alums, take a wild guess or take a look at some of those people in the cabinet where they spent their summer vacation before they all got called back to work 4 years after they left the White House. They were on boards in Silicon Valley or working as lobbyists or chief legal strategists in Silicon Valley. I highly doubt that they are going to be the ones that will put the axe to these companies.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel like from here we just get to wander off into dangerous territory. We only got a couple more minutes. What do you got to be happy about, man?
I'm gonna drink a bunch of beer.
Yeah, so many ounces.
I'm gonna drink so many ounces of beer, my man. It's gonna be.
Have you had
good.
A favorite so far?
I haven't had any so far. I was busy. I got into a flurry of productivity at the end of yesterday, and then I went over to Darren's where he had his own beer, so I drank his beer. But this will be for my consumption, and that will begin tonight and tomorrow. Although, to build up on what we said last time, new scooter company, literally, as if they heard me lamenting that there were no more scooters in Oakland.
Yeah.
Literally just deployed throughout the city. Link Scooters.
L-I-N-Q?
L-I-N-K. Okay. L-I-N-K. And they are hosses. These are some fat ass scooters. And
PHS.
New. Oh.
Link.city.
Yeah, these are fucking beasts.
They are beasts.
Beasts. And they actually have an app that feels like it was finished and wasn't rushed out in 5 seconds.
Yep.
But yeah, so far so good.
They're taking like the SUV model where it's like, hey man, the only reason you guys are getting injured is because your scooters are too tiny. If the scooter will defeat a car, then you're great.
Yeah. No, these things, they hum. But yeah, so there we go. Scooters are back.
Hells yeah. All right. And that puts another happy hour in the books. We'll see you guys. We love you and think you're great. Oh, no, wait. Also, I have to restart this. There we go. And do this. There it is. Nailed it. Smooth as silk. Love you guys.
Natty Tax Happy Hour. Natty Tax Happy Hour.